Hi, I'm Eric Dewey from the Socially Awkward Studios, Science and Beer, and Her Majesty's Secret Podcast, and you're listening to another proud presentation of the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Check out more shows at foureyedradio.com.
Starfleet Escape Podcast. Prepare for launch in 3, 2, 1. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome to the Starfleet Escape Podcast on the Four-Eyed Radio Network, where we escape into the Star Trek universe. This is episode number 45 and is being recorded on August 8th, 2014. Today's topic, Prelude to Axanar. I'm Eric.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Aaron.
This episode is brought to you by Raven Designs. Illustration and design that fit your personality. For samples and inquiries, visit ravencruise.com.
How's it going, Eric?
It's going fantastic.
Good to hear.
How about you?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. Ashley, how are you?
I'm pretty good.
Yep. 1 year from today, Ashley and I will be...
Happily married.
I guess. Yeah, happily.
What?
Wow.
Oh my god.
We'll be married.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah. So the countdown starts.
I hope I'm invited.
You are.
Yes.
Invited.
I did it. We're going to Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
All right.
Get that plane ticket now.
Oh, yeah. I better plan. You know what? I'll wait for the save the date.
Yes. They'll be coming out in a couple of months.
Yes.
Or trek the date.
Oh.
Trek to the date.
Okay, now I have to ask, are you guys going to do a nerdy wedding? I don't know if it's too early.
It's going to be an infusion of Star Trek and Cinderella. Don't ask how it's going to work, but it's going to somehow.
It's going to be Cinderella with some undertones of Star Trek.
With some Trekuments?
Yeah, so maybe you'll see some Delta Starfleet shields about the place, but it's mostly going to be Cinderella.
You know what? I got this idea from another friend's wedding that I went to earlier this year. Mm-hmm. Have the tables, instead of like numbered tables, have the tables be different Star Trek ships.
That's
like
what we were thinking about doing. Aaron and I, we were talking about that.
Yeah, I was like, maybe we can have ship classes.
Or the Enterprise and Voyager and...
I know, but there are some names that people wouldn't get.
Oh, okay.
You know? I don't know.
But something like that. And then you could have, like, Cinderella's carriage table, or... I don't know.
Yeah, I've been working on that, too. But there's not too many in the first movie. Mm-hmm. And the first movie is, like, my favorite.
Oh, so now you have to dig into the sequels?
Yeah, and... I'm like, I don't really know a whole lot of the sequels, but we'll see.
And they probably suck too, right?
Probably.
They do.
It's like,
that's why I like
direct to DVD.
Exactly. It's like all the sequel Disney ones. They all kind of stink. And
Jafar needs a haircut.
Exactly.
Well, I'm very happy for you two, and it's going to be a good year.
Thank you.
Yes, it will. And same with you. It will be a good year for you.
Oh, it's going to be a great year.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and you're going to Paramorphicon?
Yes. Thank you for the plug. In 2 weeks, August 22nd through the 24th, I will be there along with a couple of my co-hosts from the Ranger Command Power Hour, and we will be covering the event live. I will be live tweeting all weekend. So if you are a Power Rangers fan and listen to that podcast, just keep an eye on my Twitter. And we're trying to do a live stream episode.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
So we are trying to plan that. So that'll take place instead of our regular episode, since it's on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. And Saturday will be the biggest day of the convention. I know Saban has a lot planned, surprises for the Power Rangers fandom. So, if anything, Saturday is the day that you want to tune in to everything.
Nice.
Very cool, very cool.
We will definitely do that. So that would be the 23rd?
That is August 23rd, yes.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
It's like in 2 weeks I'll be in Pasadena. It's going to be great.
Nice,
I
exciting.
can't wait. All right.
All right, so why don't we move into some Star Trek news?
Great.
So first up here, the social media site Star Trek Ryza has a Star Trek Online contest going on. So you can win an amazing STO bundle of duty officers, starships, energy credits, and more. Just upload a screenshot of your character selection screen with the hashtag STO login on the Star Trek Ryza website, and the winner will be announced Saturday, August 30th.
Well, I guess it's time for me to actually start playing the game.
You know,
since it's free to play.
I installed it and played one mission so far.
Oh, well, how did you like it?
This was probably a month ago that I did it.
Okay.
And it was okay. It was alright. Some getting used to, but it's not bad.
Oh, I was going to say you don't sound too impressed with it.
Oh, well, I mean, it's better than Star Trek Legacy.
Oh, well, thank God. Anything's better than that game.
So if you take that into account, it's pretty good.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. You get to like design your character, pick its race and the uniform style. You can pick the type of uniform that they use. So it's cool.
Nice. Now, what race did you play?
I'm human.
Oh, you're so boring.
I made him look like me.
Oh my God. I would have been Andorian and been all cool. And you're like,
well, when
you're like, I'm a human.
Actually, I'm not sure if Andorian is a choice.
Well, that's a crime, and I will never play that game.
Maybe it is.
How about
Okay.
an Orion slave girl?
Hey now.
That probably won't be.
Oh wait, we have seen one in Starfleet, in the new JJ movies. I was just gonna say
We've seen two in Starfleet.
Yeah, that's true. They look like. But have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh my God, I did.
Zoe makes a good Orion.
I would say she does.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yes, I've seen it.
It's an amazing movie.
It's incredible.
I think everyone needs to watch it.
Yeah, the best sci-fi movie I've seen in a long time.
Yes, I haven't had this much fun at the theaters ever. And I know we're talking about Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Star Trek podcast. And you can actually check out the Long Box cast on the Four Eyed Radio Network. They just did an episode that's a spoiler cast for Guardians of the Galaxy. But holy crap, I've never had so much fun at the movie.
Right.
I bought the soundtrack, and
really?
It is the best soundtrack ever. It's got these great 60s and 70s bands.
Yeah.
It has put me in such a good mood. I can't stop listening to it. It's great.
Yeah, I love that music.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was awesome mix.
Quickly, though, favorite character in the movie?
Oh, my favorite character?
Yeah.
It would be the main guy there. It was Peter? Is that his name?
Peter Quill, Star-Lord.
Yeah, Peter Quill. Yep.
Ashley?
I did not see it.
Go to the movies right after we record this. My God.
It might be too late.
And I think I know yours.
Yeah, it's Rocket the Raccoon.
Yeah.
He was incredible.
That was cool, and I liked seeing when he was putting on his clothes, you could see the robotic functions there.
His character was not only one of the funniest, but they put a lot of emotion into his backstory, and it actually got a little dark at times. It was just a great movie at all. I think any Star Trek fan would get a kick out of this movie.
Right,
it's so good. Anyways. Moving on to the next point of the news, Sesame Street will be parroting Comic-Con in their 45th season with Numeric Con, which will feature a puppet of James T. Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I saw this video.
Yeah.
The Kirk puppet is hilarious.
Right. They get his
mannerisms down perfectly.
Right.
And I thought the voice was great, too. Whoever did that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's funny. It's funny. It's just like a preview of that.
Of the short. Yeah.
So it's funny. I believe Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, tweeted out the other day that he was a puppet. So he has seen this.
And it's funny because the puppet even has the hair, the Kirk hair.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so if go out and watch this little trailer of the short. It'll be in our show notes.
The next thing, Shatner and NASA had a Twitter exchange on August 2nd. Shatner tweeted, "How is @NASA doing today?"
In NASA's reply, @William Shatner, "Good day, Captain. ISS is in standard orbit and Commander Swanson has the con. Hope you're having a great weekend."
NASA's full of a bunch of nerds.
Yeah, they are.
I think that's hilarious. I missed this interaction on Twitter, and I follow both of them, so I should have seen it.
It was last Saturday, I think.
Oh, okay, cool. I guess in 2013 this happened before.
Yeah.
Where Shatner tweeted to Commander Hadfield, Chris Hadfield, who was very famous for tweeting pictures and video. He has since come back, but Shatner tweeted, "Are you tweeting from space?" And he said, "Yes, standard orbit, Captain, and we're detecting signs of life on the surface."
Very nice.
Nerds, get a life.
I think it's really great that Shatner is interacting with NASA because I think NASA is such an important part of our future going forward in terms of space.
Yes.
And I think more support needs to be going towards NASA, especially, their budget, because there's been so many, cutbacks. I think they need a boost. I think we need to step up our game for the next chapter of exploration.
Yes.
That's my little rant.
Yes, the next generation of NASA.
Yeah, let's make it so.
Oh,
snap.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if you saw this, Eric, but Star Trek Renegades released a clip entitled The Mission, which Captain Lexa Singh lays out the mission.
I have not seen this, but then again, I've been very busy. But I do like what Star Trek Renegades is doing.
Yeah, the clip was pretty good. It's a short clip, a rough cut, I guess, of the clip. But it does feature the Captain Kirk of Star Trek Continues as a Cardassian.
Oh. Well, yeah, I've seen pictures of him.
Right, well, this scene has him in it.
Oh.
As one of the Renegades.
Wow, I'm going to have to check that out after the show.
Definitely.
This is kind of special and relates to what we were talking about earlier. Star Trek fans wed at the recently passed Star Trek convention in Las Vegas. Mark Restucci and Amy Campbell were married on August 1st. The wedding was in the style of Riker and Troy's wedding from Star Trek Nemesis. Oh my God, were they naked?
No.
Oh, okay, good.
It wasn't the Betazoid wedding.
Oh, thank Jesus. Also participating in the wedding was Houston Huddleston from the Hollywood Sci-Fi Museum. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome. This is the first time they've had a wedding at the official Vegas convention.
Here's the thing. Why not, instead of whatever you guys are doing, since it's a year away, just get married at the Star Trek convention? Well,
Houston actually suggested getting married on his bridge set, because I guess next year...
Wow!
Yeah, because I guess next year they're going to be performing a few weddings on their bridge set.
Nice.
Yeah. I said I'd have to run it by Ashley. I don't think that would fly with her family. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think my family would just call us big, weird nerds.
But that's what you guys are. That's what we all are.
Yeah, actually.
Right.
Well, that's what I am. I don't know about her.
I'm a starter nerd.
A starter nerd.
Starter nerd, I like that.
Starter pack. So congratulations to Mark and Amy.
Yes, the happy couple.
Yes. So and they also had someone dressed as Data in the Nemesis dress uniform there, the white one.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I don't know if he serenaded them with Blue Skies or not.
That would have been hilarious.
It would have been. I bet you he did, because it looked like he was singing in the pictures.
I hope someone recorded this. I would love to see
someone
that.
had to have, right?
Yeah.
But next, we decided to split the news into two sections. So we just finished with the news, and next up, we have Kickstarter news. Since Kickstarter seems to be the new big thing, and has been taking up a big portion of our news in recent episodes.
That's true.
So first up, Free Enterprise TV Pilot Kickstarter campaign. So this is based on the 1999 cult classic film of the same name. The campaign runs through August 20th, and they're looking to raise $225,000. I'd never seen the original film, but with 11 days to go, they've raised just short of
10 grand.
10,000. So quite a ways to go. It's an uphill battle. I hope they're able to reach their goal.
Yeah, I've actually never seen Free Enterprise. I think it's been in my Netflix queue for like 3 years. I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah, no, same here.
I definitely wish them success, and I hope they get it. But yeah, with 12 days to go, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah, it's an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah.
Next, the Gene Star Trek Roddenberry Project. Half-hour documentary exploring the genesis of Star Trek through the personal insight of its creator. Funds secured from our Kickstarter will help us round out the story by interviewing surviving cast members, Roddenberry's friends and family, as well as licensed footage. They have reached their goal of $15,000. As of this recording, they have raised $18,831.
Actually, I just checked. It's past $20,000 now.
Oh wow!
Oh well.
So
and they have 48 hours to go. So unfortunately, by the time that this airs, the funding will be over. But I'm glad that they met their goal already.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations. I mean, I don't know really too much about Gene Roddenberry. He passed away while we were little.
Yeah.
Passed away, so
I have seen a couple of documentaries, not on him specifically, but his son Rod Roddenberry did like a really good documentary based on what it was like growing up with Gene as his dad.
Right.
And he did interview people that talked about Gene Roddenberry, but I think a solely, Gene Roddenberry, his life film would be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So next, Bridge Commander 2 campaign relaunch. Based off the original Star Trek Bridge Commander 2 seeks to redefine space simulation games with an immense amount of detail and worlds to explore. The game is planned to primarily be an MMO, or massively multiplayer online game. But throughout you will find a single-player campaign with engaging story arcs that will help shape the future of your faction. They are seeking $70,000 by August 22nd. And right now, let's see where they're at. They are at $3,500 pledged of the $70,000 goal with only 13 days to go. So that's a huge uphill battle.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think the concept is good.
Yeah, and they announced stretch goals all the way up to $110,000, but I really don't see that happening.
No, it's.
I would love more original Star Trek games, but this looks pretty difficult.
Yeah, just 13 days to go as of this recording. Really tough.
We'll keep an eye out on it.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out. Hopefully.
I've actually banked 3 Star Trek Kickstarters at the time of this recording.
You're a beast.
I am. I'm beasting it.
Yeah.
As one of my friends at work would say, I'm beasting it. No, I got the Green Girl movie. I did that. I actually got the Green Girl movie, the actual disc, in the mail last weekend.
Nice.
So I need to watch it. I just haven't had time to watch it. I'll probably do that this weekend.
Cool.
I banked Prelude to Axanar. I'm still waiting for my perks on that, but they are very busy right now at the convention season.
Right.
So I think perks will be going out next week for those. And I also just backed the Star Trek Axanar last weekend in the first 5 days of their Kickstarter. Speaking of which, as of this recording, the main Star Trek Axanar, 16 days left in the project, they have more than doubled their goal of $100,000. And right now, as of this recording, they are at $209,000. The project will be fully funded and then some on August 24th. And as you recall on our last podcast, this Kickstarter will be going towards the set construction.
Holy mackerel.
It's, you know what, if you've seen Star Trek Axanar, Prelude to Axanar, which we will be talking about, you know that the main event is going to be just as good.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
If not better.
Better. Yeah, I'm hoping better.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be like an actual Star Trek film.
Right.
The production values are insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot wait to see the set that they build. Because they have some of the people that worked on the original shows.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's nuts. It's really nuts the amount of amazing quality that they have. And they recently added a 3D tour of the bridge.
Oh, really?
Yes. If you go on their Kickstarter page, about halfway down, they actually show the video for the set of the concept, the 3D model.
Nice.
And it looks amazing. It looks like a mix between the original series bridge and then kind of what we saw in the Abrams movies. Okay. So you can see that evolution start to happen. It looks great.
I saw some time ago 3D designs of the bridge that they were working on.
Yeah.
Those look phenomenal. Kind of like you said, a mix. I thought maybe a little bit more of a mix of Enterprise in the bridge.
Oh, yeah. A bit of Enterprise thrown in there, too, yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of show that a little bit more gritty
kind
of atmosphere. Because, like Alex said, the JJ universe splits off at the Kelvin, so that kind of design should have been in the Prime universe.
Yes.
So.
And we'll get into that a little bit.
Moving on to our next section of the show, would you buy it? So, Eric, would you purchase this?
I'd buy this in a heartbeat.
Ashley?
I don't know if I would.
So a maybe?
Yeah, it will be a maybe for me.
I would, if I had unlimited funds,
of course,
purchase this. So what are we talking about? We're talking about the Star Trek Borg Cube fridge, which is selling for $149.99 via ThinkGeek, our unofficial sponsor.
Yes, speaking of which, I recently purchased the ThinkGeek bag of holding.
Oh, yeah.
For the Power Morphicon convention. It is a great bag.
Yeah.
It's made of like this canvas material, so it's really strong. One of my friends said that his has lasted 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So it's a good bag that I will be using for conventions. And I have a couple Star Trek patches that I'm going to have sewn onto it.
Oh, very nice.
Very nice.
Well, I'm going to customize it a bit.
Cool.
There you go.
But ThinkGeek has a lot of great Star Trek products, and this fridge, it's a Borg cube. It's got the
cube.
And it's got the green lights. It looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has it glows green behind the Borg cube coating to look like the ship, and the interior light is also green, and it has the capacity to hold 9 cans of soda. With a little extra room for bacon. or something, according to ThinkGeek.
Well, they love their bacon over there at ThinkGeek.
They do.
I would totally get this. I love it. I love the design of it. It's great. And you could put it next to like a little model of the Enterprise D or something.
Oh yeah, if you had a small one.
Yeah, like one of those Micro Machine ones, or
yeah, definitely.
And it's pretty big on its own. I think it's it says it's 6 inches by 7.5 inches by 8 1/4 inches.
Oh, so it's not quite.
That's the inner dimensions. My bad.
Oh, okay.
The outer dimensions is 11.5 inches cubed.
Okay, so good. It is a cube.
Yeah, that's a big size.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about a foot.
That's what she said.
It's a big size.
Yeah. I think 7 of 9 said that once.
Whoa.
No, she really did.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're giving this 2.5 Delta Shields.
Out of 3?
Of 3.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Since she said maybe. Yeah, so go buy it, people.
Right now, damn it.
Tell them we sent you. Maybe they'll give us something.
They won't.
Do it.
They won't, but maybe. We'll see. So now, on to our main topic, Prelude to Axanar.
Ooh.
So if you haven't seen this yet, where have you been? But you can find...
what are you doing with your life? Examine your choices.
You can watch it on the Star Trek Axanar Kickstarter page, which I can understand why they're doing that, to get more traffic to the Kickstarter page.
Of course, yes.
I hope once the Kickstarter is over, they publish this on YouTube and other places.
Actually, I hope they do it a week before the Kickstarter ends so they can get a bigger boost. God, I'm sure if this went to their YouTube channel, and because this is essentially the proof of concept for this movie.
Right.
And I was so impressed by this. I've never been more proud to donate to a Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done a lot of crowdfunding, but in the past year, I've done a lot of it. And I can say Axanar has been great in providing continual updates through their pages. They're great at keeping people up to date on where the perks are and what's going on. So, and when we interviewed Alec, it couldn't have been a more perfect... I think the people behind it are great.
Yeah.
And they know what they're doing. And this video shows it. Mm-hmm. This is where the money of the first Kickstarter went to. And it looks gorgeous. It looks like something that Paramount did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or should be doing.
Or should be doing, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Or CBS, I don't know, get off your butts.
Yeah, do something. Come on, 50 years. I don't know why I keep on wanting to say 60. But 50-year anniversary, right?
Yeah, next year. And next year is the 20th anniversary of Voyager.
Really?
Yeah, next year is the 20th.
Oh, it came out in 95.
Yeah.
That's right, January 95.
Yeah.
Right.
20 years. I feel old.
You are.
I hate you.
Wow, that's like a slap in the face, man.
I'm joking. We're only a year apart.
God.
So,
well, the way you said it sounded like I was ancient. Jeez.
Like he was 60 years old.
Maybe I'm thinking everything's 60 years old. I don't know.
Oh God. Well, Prelude to Axanar is 6 months old in terms of Kickstarter. So, the cast. We've got Alec Peters, who we interviewed, as Garth of Izar, the main character of Prelude to Axanar. Mm-hmm. We've got Gary Graham as Vulcan Ambassador Soval, reprising his role from Star Trek Enterprise.
That is freaking awesome.
It's incredible. That gives it that continuity that I like.
Yeah.
I think that's their version of the pass-off. Kind of like how in the Next Generation they had McCoy talking to Data in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And it makes perfect sense that Gary Graham reprises Soval.
Right.
And an age-appropriate Soval, too. The totally older Vulcan version. Mm-hmm. Because it's past Enterprise.
Yep,
and
much past.
I know we'll get into this, but at one point, Soval in Prelude mentions in kind of a sleight of hand way to Shran, because he mentions the Andorians. He's like, I knew an Andorian once, and it was just, I was like, oh my god.
I thought of you when he said that.
Yeah, I'm very glad that Axanar is taking into account all of Star Trek continuity, including Enterprise.
Yeah.
It's great. Next we have J.G. Hertzler, who played Martok.
Right, which we saw at the Boston Star Trek convention.
Yeah, I hate you guys. Yeah, J.G. Hertzler plays a human in this, Captain Samuel Travis. But I thought it was a neat throwback, because at one point he speaks Klingon.
Oh, yes.
So, next we've got Richard Hatch, who was Apollo in Battlestar Galactica, and he also played a new character in the reboot of Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
He is a fantastic actor, and he plays my favorite character in this whole prelude to Axanar. He plays Supreme Commander, the Klingon Karn.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
Yeah, I thought this was one of his best roles in terms of that viciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we've got Tony Todd, who has also played a Klingon in Star Trek. He was Worf's brother, Kern.
Right.
And here he plays the human Fleet Admiral Ramirez.
Which, he killed it.
Yes. We've got Kate Vernon, who played Captain Sonia Alexander. She was also in the Battlestar Galactica reboot. And finally, the narrator is Orion Akaba. He's a voice actor. He's done many things in anime and video games. He was in Saints Row 4, Berserk anime, and quite a bit of other things.
He was the right voice for this. He definitely sounded like a History Channel.
And that's the thing that they were going for with this.
Yeah.
Was like a History Channel special in the future. And I thought it worked brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's 21 minutes long. Prelude to Axanar is not short. And with commercials, if there were commercials in it, this would feel like a 30-minute History Channel special.
Right.
They even had it in the titles. It was like, oh, this is part 4, Prelude to Axanar. So now I'm curious. I'm like, whoa, I got to see the other parts in the series. I think they meant to do that.
Right.
For future projects.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Maybe they'll have like part 1 and it'll be earlier in the Federation history. I'm looking forward to more.
Yeah, definitely.
So what's the plot, Aaron?
So, Prelude to Axanar is a short film that will give viewers a historical look at the events leading up to the Battle of Axanar, the central event of the film Star Trek Axanar. Filmed like a History Channel special. Each character gives a different view of the war, with the Klingons leading up to the final confrontation that will be chronicled in Axanar.
Yeah, I love how essentially the end of the special was kind of like, oh, what's going to happen next? But find out in Star Trek Axanar. It was like a to be continued.
Exactly, with that torpedo coming at you, like, oh, and then like,
oh, it was exactly like that, like, whoa.
One more. What's happening with the ship?
Oh my god! And we got a taste of a little bit of the battles in this, in this special. Yeah, and I have to say, the effects are on par, if not better than what the TV show has done. Right. And it was at least on par, I think, with the new Star Trek movie.
That's what I was gonna say. It was definitely that caliber. Like the angles and everything.
The cinematic camera shots.
Right.
It wasn't like in the TV show where, all the ships would be on like one plane in the original series. And they tried to fix that in the remastered version of the series, but oh my god, it's amazing. It's like dogfights in space.
Right.
It was awesome.
Very high energy.
Right. So we have Karn, his entrance.
Yes.
That was a pretty impressive entrance, as they're all talking about him, and they show him walking down that hall.
Yes. It really goes to show Richard Hatch's performance and the gravity that he gives to this role. Because when you see his entrance, you're like, whoa, I don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah.
Like, even for a Klingon. Like, I know, in recent series, Klingons were kind of like dumbed down, and they were just considered warriors. Mm-hmm. But this totally reminds me of that Star Trek VI type of Klingon, like the brilliant, calculating enemy. Yeah, like a true warrior.
Right. As you say, Star Trek VI, the cranial ridges on Karn is very reminiscent of Star Trek VI. Very subtle ridges, which I dig. I like that.
I like that a lot, and I thought that was a great tie-in to the movie continuity as well.
Right.
This is very cool. Next, if you noticed, because this quote-unquote documentary takes place after the War of Axanar, Sonia Alexander and Garth of Izar in this short, they actually wear cage-style uniforms.
I thought that was a good nod.
Right. That was an excellent nod. And I think that they worked with Anovos for those uniforms, and the uniforms that they're going to be wearing in the main Axanar film.
Right.
So it looks authentic, and it looks great.
Yeah, because Kate Vernon's character, when they do the flashback scenes, she's wearing a different uniform. She's wearing the ones that will be used in Axanar to represent that time period. So I thought that was a good touch. You don't see all the uniform, you just see the top half. But
but they tease it just enough where you're like, all right, that looks good.
Yeah.
Next, reconfirms crews preferred to serve with their own species.
I love this. I loved when they were like, oh yeah, the Vulcan ships and the Andorian crewed ships. And that was such a great tie-in to the original.
Yep, and that's something that Alex said.
Yeah, and they tied it in to the strategy of how they won the war. Because every crew had a different style of fighting. And because you can't tell who's crewing a ship from the outside, the Klingons never even knew what to expect.
Right.
Because they didn't know what species they were fighting, so they couldn't predict. They couldn't predict the fighting style.
Yeah, that could have been a limitation to Klingon sensors at the time.
Right.
That might have pushed them in their next gen of starships to create better sensors.
And cloaking technology as well.
So next, we have a nice, at the beginning credits, we have a nice nod to Memory Alpha, the planetoid that was home for the Federation Central Library.
I thought that was a great touch, and I like the logo that they created for that.
Yeah, that they had that one, and they had one for, I think, the Federation Historical Society.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's cool that they made this as a galaxy-wide broadcast by the Federation of Planets.
Yes, that little intro in the beginning, and it had the United Federation of Planets flag.
Yeah.
And that was a nice touch. They're really good.
I thought that was pretty interesting, how they combined the two, the Klingon and the Federation one together.
Oh, when they did that?
Yes.
The combination.
Well, they combined it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was really good.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
And it's kind of laid out exactly as a historical special would be.
Right.
And I love that they had the lower thirds graphics, like the titles, everyone's titles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
They popped it up and said, oh, Vulcan, this is Ambassador Saval, Vulcan Ambassador. And those little touches, it makes it like you're watching an actual historical documentary.
Right.
And they also had those great battle graphics as well that showed like the borders and maps that you would see like in historical films, like, oh, and then they went to this planet, and here's the borders, and here's what changed.
Right.
And, the human, the Starfleet took back this territory, and that was a nice touch, too.
Yeah.
I thought I liked that.
3-star systems in 30 days.
Right.
They took back.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was definitely cool. And like we said, the graphics in this Prelude to Axanar are the best that we've seen in any independent Star Trek production to date.
Right.
Yes.
So getting back to when you said Hertzler and Todd speak Klingon.
Yes.
They speak Klingon, but Karn doesn't say a word in Klingon, which I found odd.
I wasn't too bothered by that.
No, I wasn't bothered by it, but I figured out of everyone, he should have been the one to have at least one line in Klingon.
Yeah, maybe, but I feel that they gave, those couple lines to Hertzler and Todd, not only as a nod that they played Klingon characters in the past, but they've been speaking Klingon vocabulary for years.
Right.
So they know how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe, and this is not, I have no idea behind the scenes, and I don't even know. But maybe Richard Hatch didn't know Klingon?
I'm sure he doesn't know Klingon.
Well, yeah, I mean that, maybe they didn't have enough time to teach him how to pronunciate it. I don't know.
It's a hard and a harsh language.
Yeah.
So I could totally understand. I mean, I can hardly speak English, so I can just...
I know. It's rough.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Great balls of fire.
So next, the USS Ares has twin forward torpedo launchers.
Which is a nice nod to the Constitution class.
The refit has twin launchers.
Yes, but they noted that the Ares was built for battle. Right. It was like their strictly combat ship.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to pull out all the stops.
Right. Like, it's weird. It's not like traditional dual torpedo launcher where it's side by side.
Right.
The torpedo launchers are on the opposite ends of the deflector dish. So completely on the opposite sides of the hull.
Yeah, I think that was a good way to show maybe it could provide a better aggressive spread of torpedoes.
Right.
So that's one thing.
I'm down with it. I thought it was cool.
Oh my god, it was a great looking effect. Mm-hmm. And all the battles that they showed in Prelude looked absolutely incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for the main feature where we see the full battle.
Oh yeah,
and not just clips of it. But yeah, I thought the twin torpedo launchers on either side, I thought that was a very aggressive move and technology that we haven't seen before in Star Trek ships.
Right.
Right. And they mentioned the Andorians gave the phaser technology that are used on this ship.
Yeah, and I think the Vulcans gave them the shields.
Yeah, defensive technologies and environmental technology.
Which is consistent with what happened in Enterprise, because when Enterprise did that flash forward into the future in that alternate timeline, when they were in the Expanse, it was stated that the Vulcans basically gave them deflector shield technology.
Mm.
So I thought everything is a great nod to not only the original series, but Enterprise and also the original series movies.
Right. And I thought it was interesting seeing the two different types of phaser technologies. We have the kind of like a bolt phaser.
Which ties into the JJ universe.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then you have the beam phaser.
And I kind of like that approach because... maybe the bolt style was more to whittle down enemy shields, and the regular phaser was to deliver that final blow.
Right.
Because, you can pepper the shields with all these, mini bolts, and you're basically stressing the entire shield system to develop a weak point.
Right.
So, man, the tactical stuff that they had in the battles... of this, and they mention several different tactics. Like, the Klingons were basically playing with Federation ships.
Right.
And they even have a word for it, and they mention in the documentary, but it's basically like the Klingons show no honor towards their enemy.
Right.
They're basically mocking them.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a really good tie-in.
I did as well. One kind of in-universe thing that I thought was odd and maybe wouldn't happen was having Karn agree to be in a Federation documentary about the Klingons losing the 4-year war. I thought it was good having the opposing side. I thought this needed that. I just thought that in-universe, I don't think he would be able to explain why he would agree to it.
Maybe, unless he felt, honor in telling his side of the story.
That's true. That's a good point.
Because, if he was asked to do something, of course he's going to defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, maybe
explain it wasn't his fault that they lost. It was because of the High Council didn't support his tactic or
right, and maybe that was his way of sticking it to the High Council as well by agreeing to appear on a Federation program, essentially.
Right.
But didn't they say in the beginning of this when they were saying, didn't they say like this is a galaxy-wide broadcast of the United Federation of Planets?
Yep.
So if the Klingons could intercept that subspace transmission, that would be a great way for Karn to basically give the middle finger to the Klingon Empire.
That's
not
true.
Listening to him. So I think there's your explanation right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Some bitter feelings towards the high command.
Yeah. Now, in the documentary, we see Tony Todd's character, the Fleet Admiral. He gives this amazing speech in this big arena, which might seem very familiar to viewers of Enterprise's last episode. It's the same arena that Archer gave his speech basically signing the Federation Charter. And in Prelude, it's referred to as Archer Arena, which I thought is a fantastic nod to Enterprise.
This is full of those little nods.
Right.
Yeah, and if you're a fan, like I am, like you are, you see those nods, and it puts a smile on your face. You're like, yes, they got it right.
Right. It makes perfect sense. Archer became president.
One of the first presidents.
Yeah.
Not the first, but
right.
But he was a president. But he was essential in bringing together the Federation.
Right.
So of course it would be named after him.
It would be so awesome if in the full feature, they're somehow able to have
Scott Bakula?
Scott Bakula.
As like a really old, super old Archer? Because Archer died, apparently, right before the Enterprise NCC 1701 was commissioned. Like, he died on the launch date of the original. So he would be super old during this Axanar documentary.
Mm-hmm. But he should still be alive.
Yeah.
Well, not during the documentary, but during the time period of this 4-year war.
Oh, so he could be like, they could show him as the president of the Federation.
Yeah. Or something,
Or something.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Hey, Alec, try to get Scott Bakula.
I think we just gave him an idea, and I want them to run with that.
Yeah.
I know Scott Bakula may be a little busy. I know he's doing a new show.
Yeah.
Like that,
the NCIS.
Yeah. But if he could just take a weekend or two and film something for this, I would be on board even more than I am now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like I'm throwing money at the screen, but nothing's happening.
So let's make this happen.
Yes, make it so.
Hashtag Archer for Axanar.
Oh, yes, we need to start that.
I just called that.
Yeah, Bakula's not on the Twitter, I don't think.
He is, but it does not use it at all. I follow him, but it's like, wah. Well, I don't think he's tweeted in 2 years.
Oh, wow, yeah. Gotta guess, publicist on that.
Yeah.
So one thing, and I thought, I mean, it was obviously for dramatic effect, but why are the D7s being built in a green nebula?
What the hell's wrong with a green nebula?
There's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying, I mean, why couldn't it be like a blue nebula or
it's camouflage.
a purple nebula?
It's camouflage.
yeah.
The D7s are green, it's camouflage.
Yeah, I guess. That makes sense.
I want to keep it.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that, but I'm like, yeah, come on, can't you do something else?
It's for dramatic purposes. Shut up. No, I loved that they infer that there's this whole arms race going on.
Yeah, right.
And visually, I really don't know what the difference between a D5 and a D7 is. It's just like a bigger version, essentially.
Right. So yeah. So like the I think D6.
Or yeah, D6 or whatever.
That the D6 looked like it had a better engine or a better impulse engine to me. Like it had the
I don't know. Yeah.
things compared to the D7. But I mean, the D7 is probably just bigger.
Yeah, it's a big warship essentially.
Yeah.
And they made it very opposing on screen when it showed up. You're like, whoa. Like,
yeah, it's not like
the angles and everything. It made it seem very like, oh my god, they're serious about this.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look like the D7 from the series. The monocolor kind of
like the flat model essentially that they used.
Yeah, this is not quite the Kating class. I think I'm pronouncing that right. From
the Next Generation.
From the motion picture.
Oh, right.
Which is basically an upgrade D7.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite that. Something in between.
Yeah, and again, they're showing that evolution of the Starfleet ships and Klingon ships.
Right.
And I like that they're doing that.
Yeah, definitely. And they have some pretty-looking Starfleet ships in this.
Oh, yeah, they introduced a few new classes that we haven't seen before. And a lot of them are that perfect mix of looking like they're from the JJ universe.
Yeah.
Like there was some very Kelvin-looking ships and, the multiple different pods, and it looked really nice.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen a Miranda class in there.
Oh, like a version of that?
Yeah, like a precursor to the Miranda.
Yeah.
Before the refit, rather.
Yeah. I did like the hints that they showed of the Constitution class being built.
Yeah.
And I like that they had that as part of the arms race.
Right, the heavy cruiser that
yes.
We needed to build these to win the war.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently Starfleet got them out before the D7s were able to get out and do their thing. So we have the Enterprise 1701 being built in orbit around Axanar.
Yeah, see, that immediately sent my canon continuity alert going on in my head, because I'm like, wait, the dedication plaque says the San Francisco shipyards. San Francisco, Illinois.
See, the
Francisco,
original...
Illinois. San Francisco, California.
Yeah. The movie ones, the ones in the movie, so the Enterprise A says San Francisco shipyards.
Yes.
But the original on TV says San Francisco, California. So my theory is that the San Francisco, California is referring to the operating authority, Starfleet headquarters, being out of San Francisco, California, and not necessarily place of manufacture. Because we also have on that Starship class on the original dedication plaque, which could again just be a generalization, not the name, because we all know it's the Constitution class starship.
But more like a
generalized classification. It's not a shuttle.
Yeah, it's just Starship class. It's not a freighter, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm rolling with, to kind of allow the Enterprise to be built around Axanar.
Yeah. Or maybe they moved the fleet to Axanar, because like they said, they wanted to make the Klingons have a tempting target.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was being built around San Francisco, but then they said, you know what, let's move it to present this nice big target to the Klingons and lure them into our trap.
Possibly.
But that would mean that they're basically almost sacrificing their new ships. That was a gamble, I think.
And you would, you might want to have the ships built, like Axanar was right in the middle of everything, as presented in this documentary. I personally would probably have my ships being built as far away from the battle as possible, and then have them, go in. Just in case of something like a complete invasion by the Klingon Empire. But I'm not a tactician. I'm not Garth of
Aksar. And neither am I.
Explain that too.
That it was a nickname.
Yeah, because I was like, during the original series episode, I'm like, why does he have that name? Is that his name? Like, who? That's his birth name? Garth of Aksar? I'm glad it was just a nickname presented by the Klingons.
Yeah, and that was a nice bit of, like, that was a creative retcon, essentially.
Right.
So that he got this, impressive nickname or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's the thing. How did you feel about the profanity used in this?
Oh, I was okay with it. It's not the first time we've heard swearing in Star Trek.
Yeah. I thought it was all right. It kind of leans more toward the J.J. Abrams Star Trek,
right?
Where in the other Star Trek movies, we've had like a damn or double damn or like Data saying shit.
Right.
But we've never had that kind of swearing until the J.J. Abrams movies. So. But it's natural when you're talking about war, when you're talking about battles. It's just natural, and I'm glad it's the less squeaky clean version.
Yeah, because if we look at Star Trek IV in that comical, that movie was hysterical, but you have them not knowing how to swear in Star Trek IV.
Yeah, and maybe this was more of a. Maybe that time period between Axanar and the original series, things got more refined in the Federation.
Possibly.
So I don't know. But I thought it made it more realistic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you would say when you're talking about, the worst enemy that you've got. One thing I really liked was that sequence when they showed the Klingon cruiser being shot down over the city.
Oh, yeah.
And it crashed into the city. It reminded me of Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah, right. It was cool how it ejected something. I don't know what it ejected off as it was coming down.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I saw that. I don't know. Could it have been like
maybe
people coming out of?
I don't think it was escape pods. I think it was more like
Klingons don't use
vent or something.
Klingons don't have escape pods.
Yeah. So I think it was like.
No. You know what? I just looked at it.
Mm-hmm.
It was loose plates because they were entering the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
It was like plates of the ship coming off because they were coming into the atmosphere too fast.
Oh.
That's what it was. I just looked at it. So, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. A touch of realism right there. Everything
was realistic. I really enjoyed the effects in this.
Yeah. You couldn't even tell that it was the backgrounds were CGI.
No.
They looked really good. Because I'm pretty sure Archer Arena was all CGI, and they did a pretty good job of making that look real.
It was incredible, and I got to see behind-the-scenes pictures through the donors group of Axanar, and every single scene that these actors were in, that was all green screen.
Right.
There was green screen everywhere. All those backgrounds were computer-generated.
Wow.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't really in orbit around Earth or Vulcan.
Well, I kind of figured that.
But it wasn't even a set piece. Like, they didn't even have windows.
Yeah.
that with green screen behind it. It was just the entire set was CG.
Right.
I thought it was very impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
It shows how far that technology has come, or what you can do with a lot of money. Because we've had a few independent Star Trek films that have attempted green screen sets before.
They haven't been as successful.
No, not nearly as successful.
Or you go the other way, like what Star Trek Continues does, and have these fully built, amazing sets.
Right.
But that costs money.
Right.
And what Prelude to Axanar was able to do with the budget it had and just have CGI sets, it's incredible, the amount of talent that they got as well.
Yeah, and just imagine they're going to have sets in the actual movie. So how great will that be?
It's going to look like an official Paramount produced movie, Star Trek movie.
Yeah.
It's going to look like that. There's no doubt about it.
What I kind of want to see is how they're going to make the bridge.
Well, that's what this past Kickstarter was for, to build the set. So, we'll look at their...
Yeah, the 3D rendering, because it shows a very good 360-degree view of inside the bridge. It looks impressive. Just the 3D model of it looks impressive. So if they're able to build that up, it's awesome. Yeah. Now, what did you think about Axanar being in the middle of the core Federation worlds of Vulcan, Andor, Teller, and Earth?
Kind of wonder why we've never really heard much about it before.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's an indigenous species there.
Well, in Enterprise, we did see the Axanarians, I think, that are from Axanar.
Okay.
We saw them in the season 1 episode, like the second episode, Fight or Flight.
Okay.
They were the Axanar species. And remember, I posed that question in our interview where I asked him, are we going to see the species of Axanar that they're fighting for over the planet? And he kind of said, no, not really, because that's where battle was staged. So I saw that graphic where Axanar was in the middle of the core worlds, but it makes sense because if the NX-01 was one of the first places to discover that planet, it would be fairly close to Earth.
Right.
So. Yeah,
that makes sense. So one of those planets that they show begins with an N. It's not... I couldn't place it. When I saw it, I immediately thought of like the Narsigans. I don't know if that's their homeworld or not.
Interesting.
But I didn't think they were a member of the Federation, so I don't know.
No, I think they were always just an Alpha Quadrant species. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know what that was.
I don't know
but
either.
Anywho. Do you have any other thoughts on Prelude?
No, I just thought it was very good.
Very, very good.
Yeah, because when we last saw, what was it, Leanna?
Oh,
Lolani, my bad. Lolani. I thought that was a great one as well, but I liked this one even better.
As far as independent films go?
Yes, okay. Because of the graphics and all the ships and...
Yeah, this was graphics intense, this film, compared to other independent Star Trek films.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing that I found that was quite interesting to see being transformed was J.G. Hertzler. I remember him from Boston when he was dressed as a Klingon, but then when I saw him as
human
on the other side, I thought it was just very interesting. I haven't seen, what is his name, Tony Todd, as a Klingon, so I couldn't really
couldn't say anything. No, I didn't realize that he was Candyman, or in
Yes.
I'm not a horror film guy, so when I was reading his IMDb, I was like, whoa, what? Candyman?
Yeah, he's been in so many great films. He has that presence about him.
Oh, yeah.
And the speech that he did in Axanar, it gave me goosebumps. I was holy crap. And they make his performance like everyone in the documentary was like, oh yeah, this was an inspiring speech in Federation history. Mm-hmm. And they made it seem that way because his performance was incredible.
It was phenomenal.
His performance was better than any CGI could have been.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. This was by far that, if there was anything, that was the thing that made Axanar. When he did that speech, forget about it. It was incredible.
Exactly.
It was awesome.
So what would we rate this?
Out of 5 Delta Shields.
You got 5.
5?
Wow.
You really liked it.
Yes.
I will give it 4.5.
I will also give it 4.5.
There you go. So we really like this independent Star Trek short.
This independent Star Trek film.
Yes, the Prelude.
There you go.
Prelude to Axanar.
It's not a fan film. It is no. Independent Star Trek production.
Do you have anything else to add?
Go watch this now.
Oh yeah, do it. Wait till we're done.
We'll wait till we're done with the episode. But my God, you need to watch this.
Yeah, if you haven't, like I said at the top, where have you been? Go, do it in like 15 minutes or so. All right.
Seriously, watch it.
So let's move on to the subspace channels. And this week's question, have you seen Prelude to Axanar? What were your favorite or least favorite moments?
Least favorite, 0.
Well, just in case, maybe someone didn't like that the Enterprise was being built above Axanar.
That was essentially why I discredited it a half point. Because literally that was the only thing I could find wrong with this.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It was everything was.
I just hope they explain that a little bit more, like why the Enterprise was there.
Right.
But anyways.
So we pretty much gave our answers to this.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Facebook and see what they're saying over there. So we have Eric Larson Kimbrow Jr., who says, I think my favorite part has to do with the style of the presentation, historical archive type documentary of the future. Now that's legit.
That is legit.
Yes.
Too legit to quit.
Nope.
My goodness gracious.
My friend Tim Kudlicek said, saw the video on my iPad, my 27-inch computer monitor,
That's a massive
and
monitor.
then on the big screen.
Oh, so he went to...
He went to the movie theater in Las Vegas and saw it.
Very nice.
He said the quality of the effects is what really impressed me. The ship rising out of the gaseous cloud, nebula, whatever that was the wow moment for me in all of my viewings. Of course, also, any time Tony Todd speaks is always a great moment. So his speech was another great part of Prelude.
Yes.
No, I agree with all that. And that, with the ship rising out of the atmosphere or whatever it was.
Very reminiscent of the JJ
Yes.
Right, Jupiter.
films. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mentioned that in our first Axanar episode about that, saying that was phenomenal graphics. And
that was one of their first teaser shots too. Yeah, that was like one of the first.
And so at that time there was only a few, and that was one of them that was
very impressive.
All right, so let's go over to Google Plus, and we have Jules Shared, who says, I don't have a favorite or least favorite moment. For me, there wasn't a whole lot of meat in the Prelude. It was just a nice tease to show us of what they are capable of and to give us a short intro to the characters. My favorite thing is the overall feel and tone.
I'm going to have to disagree that there wasn't a lot of meat in Prelude.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was like one juicy steak. Because, I mean, yes, they do. It does establish the tone that they're going for. Mm-hmm. And it introduce us to these characters. But at the same time, it tells its own story about the feelings of these characters and the sacrifices they had to make looking back at this period of time. So for me, it's still a story, and there's a lot of meat that establishes the history and, leading up to Prelude, or to Axanar. It's a prelude, but it's from their perspective reflecting back on the war. Mm-hmm. So for me, it works on all angles.
Right.
I can understand. Maybe she thinks there wasn't enough resolution. It does leave you wanting more.
And I think that's the whole goal.
And that is the whole goal.
It leaves you wanting more so you can fund that Kickstarter.
Right, yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah, give me your money.
Right.
Next we have Daniel Price, who says, my favorite part was just the overall feel and tone, as Jules mentioned. For me, it gave Star Trek a far more gritty and realistic depiction than what we're used to seeing. And
I love this type of Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it can still be emotional, but it doesn't have to be so sterile. We can see these great battles, and we can see the gritty realism, mm-hmm. and we can see the horrors of war. I think Alec Peters did a great job of showing the emotion of all the people that were lost. Garth was reflecting on this war, and he's like, hey, we lost a lot of great people.
Right.
And his character was very humble. He's like, I'm not looking for, glory here. I'm sad that we had to go through this war. And the way he acted, it was great. And that's the thing. He is an aspiring actor. Like, he doesn't have the same career as all these other great guest stars.
Right.
But he isn't out of place when acting beside them.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like, he is just as up there with any of these guys.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I liked his performance, like you said. Those that didn't make it back, he was proud of.
Yeah.
Especially those that didn't make it back. So.
Right.
Next, we have our good friend of the podcast, Clive Burrell.
Mm-hmm.
He said, dude, so different to anything Star Trek before it. Of course, the actual Axanar movie will be nothing like this in style, but I thought the realism the cast brought to their roles was immense. Complete contrast to an episodic adventure. It was a lovely retrospective / hindsight edge to the following proceedings.
Agreed.
So, it was amazing.
Yeah, I concur. So that pretty much wraps up the subspace channels. So moving on to our last segment of the show, what puts my quantum state into flux?
Okay.
So this week, why hasn't CBS produced a History Channel type documentary recounting the Dominion War with the crew from DS9?
Oh my God. That would be an amazing thing for them to do now, especially considering that DS9 is like 22 years old.
Yeah.
Or 21 years old.
And it might give us some resolution to
the Cisco?
Yeah.
To the whole thing with that?
Mm-hmm.
And plus the actors are older now where they could do it without any makeup or anything like that. They could just, like, hey, 20 years ago Deep Space Nine happened, and here we are, we're just chilling, reflecting about the Dominion War.
Right.
They could totally do that. They could do that right now.
They could.
Why haven't they?
Who knows?
They might be right now. You don't know.
They're not, but they should be.
They're not. Yeah, we know they're not.
They should be. Someone should be thinking. Someone should, from Paramount or CBS, should be watching Prelude to Axanar and then going.
And then they should be watching Prelude to Axanar, then listen to this episode to get this idea, and then make it happen.
Right.
And I'll give them credit. I'll say, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
Don't worry, I'm not going to sue you for taking my idea.
Yeah, I'm not going to sue you. You heard it on the Starfleet Escape Podcast. But I don't care. Just make it happen.
Yeah, no, I don't even want you to mention us. Just do it. Just make it happen.
Maybe a small cameo, but that's fine. That's,
small. I'll play a Vulcan walking in the background. That's
yeah. Just put me in Andorian makeup and let's do this. That's it.
That's pretty much my flux. Pretty short and sweet this week. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with your flux.
Yeah.
I was very fluxed.
Yeah, I think this makes perfect sense. It wouldn't be that expensive for them to do.
Nope.
And like we said, put some resolution towards the series since DS9 didn't get
Just get the Axanar crew to do the same green screen type treatment.
Yeah, there you go. Because I know Terra
come on,
Cover's been destroyed. So.
What, $150,000 is a drop in the bucket?
Yeah.
That's nothing for a movie studio. Come on.
Right. So, Eric.
Yes.
If we wanted to find you on the internet, how would we go about doing that?
Well, all you have to do is find me at TrekkieB47 on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find me on Instagram, TrekkieB47.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Trek Ryza, which I don't use, but I should more.
You should. And you start using
TrekkieB47.
Star Trek Online to enter the contest.
All of it. And then, Instagram, Twitter. You can find me on Facebook somewhere. You can also find me on the Ranger Command Power Hour here on the Four-Eyed Radio Network.
Oh, snap.
Very
Ashley?
Cool. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. My username is at LilCuteGirl86. That's LilCutegirl 86.
Yeah.
And you can also find me on Facebook as well. I'm up there somewhere. But there are many Ashley Wongs, so, yeah.
Are there? No, I'm kidding.
Yes, there's like a bazillion of us.
Wow.
So, if you would like to follow me, I am on Twitter at NovaCharter. I'm also on Star Trek Ryza at NovaCharter. And don't friend me on Facebook, because I'm probably not going to friend you if I don't know you.
I'll do this.
But I'm also on Instagram at NovaCharter.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. I have a website, novacharter.com, but it pretty much just forwards you to all these other places. So
yeah.
So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Catch you later.
It's trekking time.
Go Star Trekians. All right. My writer's beard.
Ow, it hurts.
You have been listening to the Starfleet Escape Podcast on the Four-Eyed Radio Network, where you can catch a new episode every other Monday. You can find us on the web at sfescapepod.com. Follow us on Twitter at sfescapepod. Like us on Facebook.com/sfescapepod. And add us to your circle on Google Plus by going to google.sfescapepod.com.
This has been another proud production of the Four-Eyed Radio Network. You want to see more shows, go check out www.foureyedradio.com, you winkers.